I'm Scott Vanderplu, and this is the AE Index Podcast, episode 108.
I went down to the St. James Infirmary, found my baby there, stretched out on a long white table, so sweet, so cold, so fast.
Thank you for joining me once more as we take the typed electronic word from aeindex.org and bring it to this podcast. Not really a focus this month. I noticed, I didn't even notice that November had 5 Saturdays because I'm trying to do one review a week, and I normally post on Saturday because that's when I have time to compose it and bring it together. But I've had a lingering cold for about 3 weeks, and one Saturday I just couldn't get it together and thought I can't do this. So I skipped it. And now looking back at the reviews, I think, oh, I still got my 4 reviews in, so that's pretty great. But I guess the focus really is the reviews then. I have been reticent with the surveys. I don't know. I'm behind, and then I miss it, and then I think, oh, the surveys, and then I think, I don't know, should I do the survey? Should they be more focused on the site? As opposed to Flights of Fantasy. Tough call. I may revisit that in the new year. Because January will come around. We got to do our A-Index Dunbeer Awards. Got to vote on that. That's important. And I'll have to take a look at that. All right, let's talk shipping changes. The new month came, so I've taken away the colored highlight changes that I do on aeindex.org. AE format books index. But exciting releases coming up. We have 2 more books for 2025. That's Jim Apparo's DC Classics Artist Edition. Finally, the first book from Act 4 Publishing will be released in 2025. The date has moved a few times, but currently it's scheduled for December 17th in comic shops. And then I forget the date. I think it's December 30th or 31st for... I think it's the 30th for bookstores. All right, and the other book we should be having this month, because this is December 1st, that's Judge Dredd by Carlos Ezquerra, Apex Edition. Those who ordered it directly from 2000 AD already got theirs, and the rest of us are waiting for shipments from through Lunar to our comic shops. So that will bring a nice wrap to the year. I'm just going to... let's have a look here. Let's go to the master list on the site here and see what's come out in 2025. We had Paul Smith's Uncanny X-Men Artist Edition, Conan the Barbarian Colossal Edition, Button Man by Arthur Ransom Apex Edition, David Wright's Carol Day Last Line, Neil Adams DC Classics Artist Edition, DC Covers Artist Edition Volume 1. I just received Carol Day Cousin Hugo in the mail. I plan to review that maybe next week, maybe the week after. And then we're going to have 2 more. So that's pretty good. So that's a lot of titles, actually, when we think of the year. 6, 7, 9. That's pretty great. Now, the David Wright's Carol Days will not be eligible for voting in the Dunbeer Awards because they are only available from one place, from one bookseller, and they have to be pre-ordered. So those are all the qualifiers that make it unavailable for voting. It's got to be generally available from a distributor and not from a single distributor or a crowdfunding source. So that's the same reason Conan the Barbarian Colossal Edition will not be part of the voting. So really, if we get down to voting, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, it'll be 6 books for voting. So that tightens up the race quite a bit. I'll have to wait and see for that. All right, that's there's not a lot of shipping changes going on. Some exciting announcements, that's for sure, but not a lot of shipping changes. All right, so solicitations came. I put those up. All right, DC solicited another work in progress. And I'm like, first one, not great. Second one, I enjoyed. Third one, not good. Not in any way something that appeals to this site. And this is the fourth one. We have DC Work in Progress Dark Knights Metal issue 1. Presenting the original art of the landmark issue, both pencils and inks. And this is really why I'm like, all right, I'll give them another try. I'm just going to, I'm not going to be doing every one of these. It's got to look really good. It's got to appeal to me. Then I'll order it. I know it's only 15 US. That's like 20 something Canadian. Unfortunately, our exchange rate was 141 today. So not great either. So maybe say 22 Canadian. All right. Step into the world of comics like never before with DC work in progress. Get up close and personal with the stunning original artwork from one of comics' greatest artists. Featuring both the original penciled art of Dark Knight's Metal #1 from Greg Capullo and also the original inks from Jonathan Glapion. The brilliance of their work can be seen like never before in this massive, oversized presentation. I think it should be oversized presentation. Includes a brand new introduction by Glapion. I hope that I'm pronouncing that right. If I'm not, I apologize. I guess it should be Glapion because there's only one P. If there was two P's, it would be Glapion. So Jonathan Glapion. Don't miss your chance to own this incredible one-of-a-kind piece of comics history. This has been solicited by DC for February 11th, 2026 release. It's 11 by 17 inches. It's 64 pages softcover, so that's 32 pages of pencils and 32 pages of inks. That's exciting. Softcover again, and it's $14.99 US, as I said. We'll see how it goes. I'll order it in. Have a look for it. If it does not look good, then there'll be no more mention of that book again. All right, but the big solicitation, and I'm pretty excited about this. Doctor Strange by Paul Smith, Artist Edition. Now, I did not notice this for the Spider-Man by Steve Ditko, but now the Marvel books being put out are not doing the apostrophe S, like, ownership, like we talked about for the DC books. DC never wanted that, and it was always, so it was Paul Smith's X-Men Artist Edition, right? So now with Marvel, going forward, it's the title of the comic by the Artist Edition. So then we have Doctor Strange by Paul Smith, Artist Edition. Experience the stunning artistry of Paul Smith during his fan favorite run on Doctor Strange in this deluxe, oversized Artist Edition. Paul Smith's work on iconic Marvel comics, including Doctor Strange and Uncanny X-Men, made him one of the most popular and acclaimed artists in the 80s through today. With his impactful run on Doctor Strange, Smith's work became a cult classic and further cemented him as a legend in Marvel history. This Artist Edition of his popular Doctor Strange issues will give a one-of-a-kind view into his process. Doctor Strange by Paul Smith Artist Edition is a truly staggering presentation and includes his complete stories from Doctor Strange issues 65, 69, 70, and 72, an additional 40 pages from an array of issues, plus more beautiful covers and pages representing every corner of the Marvel Universe, including Smith's very first published Marvel story from Marvel Fanfare #1 featuring Daredevil. So that sounds, amazing. Although appearing, I'm going to skip the blurb about, what is an Artist Edition, because if you're here, you should know. All right. This is being released on August 12th, 2026 to comic shops, and 3 weeks later in bookstores. It's 12 by 17 inches, 192 pages so far. Maybe they'll find more. Hardcover, 150 US. You know what's odd about this is it was solicited, so over a week ago, it was available on Lunar, in the and on Image, right, for the solicitations. But the book has still not appeared in Simon & Schuster or on Amazon or any online bookseller like that. So this is the first time ever that there's been this delay. As is the case with all, it seems, Act 4 Artist Editions, there'll be a book direct market cover, and then there'll be there'll be a bookstore cover, or cover A, I don't know what you want to call it, and then there'll be a direct market exclusive cover. I do like the direct market this time around. I always thought that was a great image with the Archer, but shoot, Doctor Strange. The main cover is awesome. Paul Smith, Doctor Strange, I love it. I love Paul Smith. I wish we had more complete issues in the Paul Smith Uncanny X-Men Artist Edition. So giving us 4 issues here, that's pretty great. So I'm really happy to see that. Paul Smith's just artwork. There's this softness to it. It's really enjoyed this period. Looking forward to this book. Very exciting. All right. Wow. 4 reviews. I guess I'll get right into it. Wow. Isn't that funny? We got Le Tunique Bleu, Dupuis Artiste Edition is our first review. It's interesting. Somebody on the forums said that they think the 2080 Rebellion Apex Edition is their favorite format, or the favorite presentation of artist editions right now. And for me, my favorite presentation of current AE format books is Dupuis and their Artiste Edition line, actually done by Chimpaka Brussels, who's putting it together. And I am trying to find a contact so I can reach out to them and get a hold of somebody. The main editor for these books is Eric Verhoost in Brussels, and I cannot seem to find any contact information for him. I mean, I found Gallery Chimpaka on Facebook. I found Eric Verhoost on Facebook, but I'd love to get some info. I'd love to get maybe an email back and forth interview going with Chimpaka Brussels. Just their involvement in this and their Vieux Dessin line of books, the artist books, are just amazing stuff that they've got going. I did not have time when I was in Brussels to look up the gallery. I really wish I had. But you can't get it all. All right. Le Tunique Bleu has sold 21 million albums and is one of the most respected representations of the Western genre in Franco-Belgian comics. The series' longevity and widespread success bear the unmistakable mark of the Lambiel-Cauvin duo, yet none of this would have been possible without the immense graphic talent of Louis Salvarius. The Bluecoats began with one-page gags and short stories. Salvarius drew upon his animation experience to best characterize his characters. With A Wagon in the West and From North to South, 44-page stories, he immediately reached a graphic peak. Wow. His pen and ink technique proved particularly prodigious, and his instantly likable characters came to life with great dynamism. His virtuosity is astonishing, and one wonders where it could have taken him if he hadn't been stopped by cardiac arrest at the age of 42. That's quite the language there in that intro. All right, this was released on May 30th, 2025. It's 14.5 inches by 18.5 inches. It's a good size book. 112 pages, hardcover. It's €229. Readily available from Amazon France. I got my copy in, and again, I really like what they're doing. So because first off, they're focusing on really classic Franco-Belgian comics. And yes, when you have that possibility to focus on, just to start from the beginning and really focus on these classics from the 50s, from the 60s, then they have an opportunity. There's been a lot of already research done, a lot of information about the artists and that kind of thing. So they're drawing upon that. We've got photos of the creators. We've got photos. We got examples. Just a wonderful introduction is presented to the work. Multiple pages, and then we get into the work, and I just love the look and the feel of this material. Right? It looks and feels like artwork that has been worked on. Right? That was produced. It's not clean, right? It's staples, it's correction fluid, it's paste ups, it's pencils, it's inks, it's writing, right? Blue pencil circles and all that kind of stuff that shows this was through the hands of multiple creators and production people. And then it was, it's all those little things that just really draw me to the AE format. I just love it. I apologize for if you hear any hard stops or hard breaks, or my cold is really bothering me. I'm coughing constantly, so I'm pausing and unpausing this podcast. So apologies in advance. The Tunique Bleu, it's interesting. Bluecoats. Cinebook has been translated a lot of these into English. The material was not something that appealed to me, honestly. And yes, everything else I'm saying in the podcast is also honest. I don't know why I said honestly. Doesn't make any sense. But you can't read everything, you can't enjoy everything, and that's also one of the reasons why I like these Dupuis Artistes Editions. Is I'm committed to getting every one of them. So makes me look at things that maybe I would not have looked at. Sort of like artist editions in the North American market. I bought many of them that were material that I would not have picked. But you get it, analyze it, have a good look, right, and really get something from it. My only issue with Dupuis, it seems, is this is my second Artiste Edition, where there's a problem with the paper in the book, where like every page has got this big dent in it. It's crazy. I don't know how many of these I have. I think 6 or 7, and 2 of them have got this same problem. And because I've ordered from Amazon France, I don't want to do a return, because then how do I get it back? I got to pay for the shipping back, and then I got to wait for the next one to come. Thankfully, they're packaged so well that I don't have to worry about how it's going to show up. The book is shrink wrapped, and then it's got foam corners on the book, and then that goes into another box, and that box is shrink wrapped. And then sometimes I get that box shipped to me, or sometimes it's put inside another box from Amazon, and then they ship that box. So I've yet to have any corner damages, because I do ship these books as well, and as part of my day job at the comic shop, I ship a lot of material, and the concern is not the flat parts of the book, right? You're not going to get damage. Yes, if somebody stabs the box, then the book is going to be damaged, but that almost never happens. What happens is, right, the box gets bounced around and the corners get bumped. So when you're shipping something like this, right, the importance is protecting your 4 corners. The box can be flat against the front and back of the book, but you need buffering on those corners. And I think Dupuis does a beautiful job of packaging on that. The material, yeah, it's got the look, right? There's a look for 60s, Franco-Belgian comics, and it's just so classic. And Severius is not an artist. As I say, not interested in the Blue Coats really before this. Severius is not an artist I was particularly interested in. But looking at this, it's just the lines are just classic, and the characters and the faces, and it's just a beautiful presentation. Really well done. Actually, I picked up. They've got an Envia Dessin for. The Tunique Bleu. So I did pick that up. Another book in the stack. I mean, how many books can I have possibly in my to-do stack? It's insane. But yeah, just one more, right? What can you do? And again, the production in this book is gorgeous, right? I mean, cornerbound cloth spine, hot stamping. I love the presentation of the graphic on the cover, and then the title and the creators on the hot stamping, and then the spine. I just love the look of it. And the covers are so ridiculously thick. It's just unbelievable. I love it. And of course the design. I know it's funny because I really enjoy Philippe Gometti as a designer. But he's sort of got a design, and I keep seeing him sticking to that design. It's classic, but I'm not seeing much deviation with it. But maybe that's the appeal. I don't know. All right. Next up, don't worry. I only have 2 French books this month and 2 English books. No full-size artist editions, of course, because none came out. But lots of other interesting things. So this next review, Fantastic Four Full Circle Expanded Edition. A couple years ago, Alex Ross with Abrams Comic Arts released Fantastic Four Full Circle. He took a new artistic approach to the way he's drawing. Like the look is completely changed from what he was doing his painted stuff before, and released this graphic novel, and it was just really great, well done. And then they released this expanded edition, and I thought, well, wait a second, you're taking a 64-page graphic novel, and suddenly it's 352 pages. How do you do that? And then we got a couple copies in for the store, and I opened one up for somebody, and I thought, well, this is amazing. I'm going to get one for myself, and then promptly brought that home and sat on it like every book in the to-do pile for a year, probably a year. Let me give you the blurb. The critically acclaimed, award-winning national bestseller, the first original graphic novel on the Marvel Arts list, now in an oversized deluxe expanded edition. This new edition has 280 additional pages of jaw-dropping bonus material from Ross, as he walks readers through his process and vision for the making of the book School Library Journal, called a pop art masterpiece. Showcasing early visual concepts through final art, Ross takes readers behind the scenes, revealing for the first time his proposal, thumbnails, sketches, inks, and color guides. The book also includes commentary from Ross, as well as reprints of the classic Marvel comic from Stan Lee and Jack Kirby that inspired Fantastic Four Full Circle, Fantastic Four number 51, and the subsequent run of covers from 2023, which Alex Ross created for Marvel Comics, featuring the Fantastic Four in costumes designed for Fantastic Four Full Circle. An essential addition to any Alex Ross fans' bookshelf. Fantastic Four Full Circle Expanded Edition, I don't know why, it's in parentheses, it just drives me crazy, is a comprehensive look at the creative process of one of the most acclaimed and influential artists of our time. This was released by Abrams Comic Arts, but they call it Marvel Arts. I don't understand. You already have an imprint of Abrams called Comic Arts, and then you have a sub-imprint called Marvel Arts? Anyway, released October 29th, 2024. It's 10.5 inches by 13.5 inches, 352 pages. It's a hardcover. It was $65 US, and it's a stunning presentation, really. This, without exaggeration, Alex Ross takes you through every single part of the creation of this book. It is an exhaustive look at his process, and I mean, this is not a criticism. If you wanted to know soup to nuts how a graphic novel of this type comes together, Ross takes you right through from initial ideas, tickling in the back of his mind, right through all the way. So we've got character design and his writing process, and then, what the interest is for me in the site, full pencils. Gorgeous pencils, by the way. Really detailed. Just leap off the page. Really nice. And then we go full inks. Inks don't do as much for me. It's funny because there's inks, and then he does some wash, and he does some Alex Raymond technique there with the dry brush. And anyways, still gorgeous stuff, right? But I don't know. The inks didn't pop for me as much as the pencils did. I don't know why. It's just me. What can I say? And then we get the color pick guides, which is really cool. So the color guides are not full page. Everything else is full page. And maybe that was my problem with the inks. The pencils actually look like his art pencils, right? They look like pencil pages. But then the ink pages are like full bleed, and I don't think that's how the inks actually appeared or how he was inking. So I feel like there's some maybe sort of production done in the inks. That was maybe my criticism. Don't know. And then the color guides, they're like photo page, and then we do get some color guides that are giant. I featured in the book in the photos. Wow, that was a tough word for me to draw out of the air. Some of them are double page spreads, so really nice. And then like I said, the text is wonderful. Like really, it's like getting inside Alex Ross's brain and just going over everything for this book. It's really, really well done. If you really want to a complete look at how something like this is done, they do it, and they do a really great job. Big fan of Abrams Comic Arts. Love what they're doing. I talked to them at Baltimore. I think I mentioned this last month, and asked them, please do an expanded edition of the Chip Kidd and Michael Cho Avengers and the Veracity Trap there. I'd love to see something like this with full expanse. Now, Cho did say to me, some of it was done digitally, so it couldn't quite have the same. The beginning part of Veracity Trap is done on board, but then when they come back into the real world, that was done digitally. So interesting. I guess the same technique couldn't be applied for that. Still, I'd love to see Cho's pencils, inks, colors in a book like this. Gorgeous. Michael Cho, there's an artist that I think deserves an A format book. Really awesome. I guess I'm all right. This is halfway through the reviews, and I'm 25 minutes into the podcast. I'll say 3 ways to support the site, because I got to give my commercial. Apologies. Please click on the links, my affiliate links. That's the best way. You're getting something. I'm getting something. eBay, AbeBooks, Amazon. I do not get affiliate money by each purchase from Walt's Comic Shop, but they do pay for ads on the site. So there's my sponsor, my main sponsor for sure. I think probably as far as income goes, it goes eBay, then Amazon, then Walt's. Sometimes Walt's could be second, I guess, there. But it's great to have I love having just the one sponsor that I can really focus on, especially for European. I'd love to get one for North America as well, and then have somebody I could say, hey, AbeBooks, North America, here you go. AbeBooks, right, Europe, Walt's Comic Shop. The other way is Patreon. That's certainly I don't provide extras or exclusives for Patreon patrons, and maybe I should, but I don't. If I get hot news or something, which doesn't happen that much anymore, then I do share with Patreon patrons first. But then the last way to support the site, I have a store. I have things on there. I've lowered the prices a couple times. If you're interested in buying something and you see it on the store, I greatly appreciate that. That's money right in my pocket that goes into buying more books. Buying this month, I'm in trouble. I have my AE Index bank account. I do all my transactions in USD, and so I have a separate USD account, and that's what I make my purchases is. But buying copies of the Star Wars manga book from Dark Horse through Kickstarter, and then buying my Kickstarter for the J. Scott Campbell. I got extras for that for the site. And then I've ordered a bunch of catalogs from, and then I ordered some new books, and I ordered a new book from Edition Black and White that I'll be reviewing hopefully this month. I think that book's arriving. Matthew Lefray's The Raven. That will be arriving on Wednesday at my house. So I've already practically got December's reviews lined up. That's Carol Day's Cousin Hugo, The Raven. I'm really hoping I get my copy of Jim Apparo's DC Classics Artist Edition in December so I can actually review it. And then I'll get the Carlos Esquerra book reviewed, and that'll be my 4 reviews for December. So looking forward to that. All right, that's the sales pitch. I appreciate you hanging in for that. All right, 2 more reviews this month. Dave Stevens Covers and Stories. This is embarrassing that I've actually had this book since 2012 and never reviewed it, never even thought about it for the site. It had tickled the back of my mind again. I don't know why I keep using that expression. Maybe I'm in a feverish haze. But I thought, Dave Stevens Covers and Stories. I've heard of this book. I'm sure it's scans of original art. So I'm out in my garage. I have pretty well 75% of my collection is in my garage in boxes. I'm going through. I'm selling everything that's basically not AE related or newspaper strip related. So I'm digging through. The 12th box, I find this book finally, Dave Stevens Covers and Stories. I also find the other Dave Stevens book, the collected sketchbooks. I'm not sure I'm going to review that or not. But, boom, I get this book. Here's the blurb. It's funny, it's not even on the IDW site anymore because, IDW's circling the toilet bowl, really, at this point. Dave Stevens is renowned for his work on The Rocketeer, the beloved comic that introduced the world to Cliff Secord and his incredible Rocket Pack, but Stevens was also one of the most sought-after and accomplished cover artists in comics. This collection will provide a comprehensive gallery of Dave's covers, with many of them scanned from the original art. Additionally, there will be cover roughs to accompany many of the covers. Finally, all of Dave's non-Rocketeer comic work will be presented, including incomplete and unpublished stories. This was released again October 2012. It's 8 by 12 inches, 272 pages, hardcover. It's $49.99 US, or was. I mean, good luck. Hit up eBay. I think I'm seeing lists like, somewhere between, $150 and $200 US. But have no fear. Act 4 Publishing will be doing an oversized version of this. So expect that to be larger than 8x12. That was one of the first books they announced. So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully I can get me a copy of that and get a review up. And I was really hoping, it was interesting because we got some people here who worked on this book. We've got materials compiled by David Mandel and Kelvin Mao. Kelvin Mao I've interviewed for the site before. This was edited by Scott Dunbier, and it was designed by Serban Cristescu. So all people we're familiar with by working on other IDW AE format books, artist editions, artifact editions, and Kelvin Mao, of course, and Scott Dunbier on the Rocketeer Artist Edition. So basically this book collects everything that's not in the Rocketeer Artist Edition, which is pretty amazing, I got to say. And it's funny, I don't even remember flipping through this book. It's kind of, sometimes you buy a book and you put it in the pile and you think, I'm going to get back to that. And then I never got back to it. It's criminal, really. This book is astounding. Dave Stevens. And what's gorgeous about it is there's so many roughs in the book, right? And I love the design work by Cristescu here. So we've got, there's a banner across the top left. It tells you what the comic is. It tells you who the publisher was. It tells you when it was published. And then we've got roughs, pencils, maybe it's, and then we've got the scan of the original artwork. Yes, full size. If this was 12x17, oh my goodness. Amazing. Seeing the stuff at full size, wow. If the scans are sitting around, couldn't they at this point do a full size artist edition? I guess not. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, the roughs are gorgeous because we don't know what size the roughs are. I don't know any of this, but I mean, you look back all those Dave Stevens covers from this time period, and there's just so many amazing covers. I mean, I love the Mr. Monster cover. I've always been a fan of that. And then it's just page after page of just amazement. The Johnny Quest cover, I mean, gorgeous. Dave Stevens, like, what a master. I said in the review here, the Shadow and Doc Savage covers are just, anyway, it's just your jaw drops every page. I did not do a video flip through of this book because there's a lot of bare breasts, and I thought, I don't need the hassle from YouTube. I don't want to do restricted, 18 only videos. I'm not interested. For the podcast, I'm not doing it. I'm not swearing ever on the podcast. That's not my thing. And I try not to do any nudity if I can avoid it. So I thought, I'll skip the video reviews. But yeah, just even the cover image, and then the comics, I didn't even remember these comics before Rocketeer. But anyway, the book is, as I said, the book is astounding. It's well worth it to pick up now. But I mean, also amazing to get when Act 4 Publishing releases their connoisseur edition of this. Just stunning, really. Dave Stevens. Always a pleasure. All right, the last book of the month. I just did this on Saturday, so 2 days ago. And that's L'Ombre de Zed. I guess L'Ombre de Zed. Apologies. Coffret Collector Canal BD. So this is Spirou, Fantasio, and the Count of Champagnac fly to Colombia in pursuit of Zorglub. And an exceptional box set including 2 books. Remastered version of the complete story, all pages published in the Spirou magazine and not included in the album. All of Franklin's comic strips in facsimile. Limited edition of 2,800 copies sold, plus 200 off for resale. So those Horus Commerce ones they seem to like to do. This was released from Dupuis on January 28th, 2022. It's 9 1/4 inches by 12 1/4 inches, 128 pages. Hardcover, which is I'm only focusing on the second hardcover, which is the comic strip. This was €44 for the set. So again, you get a slipcase or a coffret, which is really box set, not slipcase. So, and then we get 2 hardcovers in there. We get one covering, the strip as published in Spirou. So you get a couple extra pages that weren't in the album. And then we have this presentation of Scansy's original art. And what I wanted, this is not really a straight review of this book because it's more I sort of am, but also comparing and contrasting. Because I did just review L'Ombre du Z version original which I got from Marsu Productions through Amazon. I did the review. Actually, I'm going to scroll and see when I did the review. I think it was... this is terrible. I should have this stuff loaded up beforehand. I reviewed this October 4th. So that was something I got from Amazon. Really happy, except it came and it was damaged. So, but still, for the price I got, very happy with that. Anyway, so you can think of this as a reduced size, right? So if you want to think of this in IDW terms, it's an artisan edition, right? Because instead of being the full size, which was oh my goodness, it was 12 by 17 inches. This is 9.5 by 9.25 by 12.25. So obviously that's reduced. But otherwise, it's this exact same presentation as the boards from the full size AE. And it's interesting, they weave, there are extras. There's no introductory extras. They're all at the end. And they are slightly different than what was in the version original. There's less, for sure. There's less images. I have not compared the text fully because I did not finish reading the text in the first one. Because sometimes, sitting there translating with Google Translate is not always so fun. And then so I'd have to go through this one as well and do the same thing. This is one of those books I picked up when I was in France. I have a second Canal Bay Day slipcase set for the other Zorglub collection, and love it as well. I will get to reviewing that soon. I also have many other Franklin books that I need to review, and as we discussed on the forums, there is no such thing as too much Franklin. I mean, the guy, just a master, right? I love that style. It just sums up to me just what is wonderful about bande dessinée and Franco-Belgian comics. Canal Bay Day, I mentioned in the review. Canal Bay Day is a collection of independent bookstores. They formed an association, and then they sort of rebranded as Canal Bay Day. They have a website. Unfortunately, not every store ships from the website. You actually have to find a store on the web through the Canal Bay Day, and then find one that will ship. I have not ordered anything from a Canal Bay Day store because I'm still having some issues finding the books I want, and then having to do that shipping. So I have not done that yet. So that's a little bit disappointing on my part. This book is stunning. If you don't want to put out the money for the full-size one, if you can find it, again, you're going to pay like 300-400 euros for the full-size one. Or maybe you'll catch a deal and have a damaged copy like I did. Or you go... I've got links for Les Libraires, which is a collection of independent French bookstores in Canada, and you can order this from them. So this is 44 euros. If you ordered from Les Libraires, it's 79.95 Canadian. So pretty sweet. You can order that through them or through BD Fugue if you want to order from them. They're also good. And you can get this book shipped to you, and you get a classic, right, reduced size, original art book of one of Franklin's greatest stories. Amazing. If everybody needs a lot of Franklin in their life. That's all I can say. And the presentation is really gorgeous. All right, that wraps up for me. I've done all the coughing I can do, and my throat is burning. So thanks for joining me again, and we will talk in 1 month's time.
Let her go, God bless her. Wherever she may be, she can search this wide world over. She'll never find a sweet man like me.